Hello everyone, welcome to another session of Political Science with me for class 11. And in this session, I'll be taking your chapter 10, okay, making of the Constitution. Okay, in the previous session, I've taken your chapter 1 and your chapter 2, right, falling under part A of your syllabus. And today, chapter 10, it is under your part B, okay, so that there is a balance in your chapter. So on the part B, this is the first one, okay, chapter 10, that is making of the Constitution. Here in this chapter, we'll be discussing the meaning of the Constitution as written here in the board, the significance, the importance of the Constitution. Yeah, and the third is the Constituent Assembly. All right, and we'll be talking about the sources of the Constitution. And the last is the silent features of the Constitution. Okay, now we'll first deal with here the meaning of the Constitution. Now, what do you mean by a Constitution? I'm sure every one of you know the meaning of the Constitution. You'll be giving answers in a variety different ways, yeah, but having the same meaning. That is something to do with laws, rules, or regulations, yeah. So just like that, some writers, they have given a definition on the Constitution, and here is given three writers, that is R.N. Gilchrist, we have Dana, and James Bryce. In these three definitions, R.N. Gilchrist, okay, he talks about, or he gave a definition of Constitution in depth and is very clear to understand also. Now he says that the Constitution of a state is that body of rules or laws, yeah, written or unwritten, that which determines the organization of the government as well as the distribution of powers to various organs of the government and the principle on which these powers are to be exercised. So I request you to learn at least one definition out of these three given definitions, okay, to support your answers. Now, in general, we can say that Constitution is that body of rules or laws according to which a state is governed. All right, and that rules or regulations, they are accepted by the people living in the state, okay? Now, that's the meaning of the Constitution, that is, in simple, rules or laws, according to which a state is to be governed. All right. Now, the second topic, that is significance of Constitution. Here, it has given some points. Number one, it is a set of rules that create an orderly society. Okay, it focuses on a just and order society. It is the Constitution, okay, which provide ways and means to take a decision. For what? The decision to govern the society. Okay, now while they are taking decision, they have to follow some basic rules here. Now, basic rule here is under inverted comma. It's very important. All right. Now, if a rules and regulations is not followed properly, the decision that is taken by the authority, they might take decisions to fulfill their needs or whatever they wanted to. But they have to follow rules, okay, so that the decisions benefit the entire or a large sections of the society, so that there could be political stability, order in the society, okay. So the first one is order of the society. Now, point number two, the significance of the Constitution. Point number two, this is very important. It says that the Constitution determines the form of government, okay, form of government and powers to various organs of the government. Now, forms of government, from here is talking about India, we have a parliamentary form of government, yeah. Now, when you look at, or when you have a study of different constitutions of the world, when you look at the US Constitution, you get to understand that they follow a presidential form of government, yeah. And when you look at the Chinese Constitution, you get to know that they follow a communist form of government. So just like that, even the Constitution of India, you go through, you know that it is a parliamentary form of government. In short, it is like a mayor of the country, okay, the forms of the government. It also talks about powers to various organs of the government. When I say various organs of the government, it is mainly referring to the three organs of the government, okay, the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. Okay, now it is through the Constitution that they derive powers, okay, power to form, rule the government. All right. Now, point number three, the Constitution limits a power to the rulers. Here the rulers is talking about the government. Okay, in point number 2 we have said that they are given the powers. Yeah. In point number 3 it's saying that there is a limit. Okay, why there is a limit? If there is no limit, the authority might overuse or misuse the power that is given to them. Yeah, there is a famous saying that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So this is how an absolute power, it will make the authority to be more authoritarian or maybe more dictatorial in their working. So there should be a limitation in their working so that there is a political stability in the country. All right. Now, point number 4, it says that the Constitution sets out basic objectives of an ideal society. Now, every constitution, they have a philosophy of its own. They show through the constitution, they project what their country wanted to be. Now, as far as India is concerned, now, the primary aim of the Constitution of India is to, or was to have a sovereign democratic republic. Okay, keep these 3 words in mind. Sovereign democratic republic. Sovereign means independent. Yeah, independent from both outside as well as internal sovereignty India has. Now, when we talk about democratic means where people have a participation in the decision making, where the citizens can raise voices against law, be it in favor or be it in rejection. People have a participation, that is democratic. Yeah. Now, republic, India does not follow a monarchical system. Yeah, we elect or we indirectly elect a president. That is to do with republic. Okay, so people here, the sovereign democratic republic, this is the main, or this is the philosophy of the Constitution of India. Okay, so this is the point number 4. And point number 5, it says that the Constitution makes clear the rights of the citizenship. Now, as a citizen of India, we have the right to citizenship. Now, when we talk about this US Constitution, she offers a dual citizenship, that is a citizen of the country, that is United States, and citizen of the state to which a person resides or lives. For example, if a person or a citizen lives in New York, that means he is a citizen of New York as well as a citizen of the United States of America. Now, when we look at the Indian Constitution, India provides only a single citizenship, and that citizenship is for all of India with equal rights and responsibilities. Okay. Now, point number 6, it talks about Constitution reveals fundamental identity of the people. Now, how do we get identified? As a citizen of India, how do we get identified? Now, identity, we get identity by peculiar features like qualities. What are those? Like our ideas, our belief system, our practice system, yeah, our creed, our customs and all. Now here, Professor Alan Ball refers to these qualities as political culture. Now he went on to say that political culture, it will differ, okay? It will differ from country to country on how a people or a citizens, they participate in the political process. Now when we look at India, okay, for example, in democratic setup, in any democratic country, okay, people participate in the decision making. Yeah, sometimes the citizens also contest elections. They raise voice against the government, playing the role of an opposition or even like an interest or pressure groups. Now, such qualities, okay, or such participation, you will not find in a communist country like China or a dictatorship form of government like North Korea, right? So, political culture, it will differ from country to country as well as how people participate in the government. Okay. Now, this is to do with your fundamental identity. Now, point number 7, it says that a just constitution is one which promotes the idea of peace, prosperity, yeah, happiness and justice. Now, it says that in order to realize these 4 principles, the constitution has to grant rights. Without rights, these principles cannot be achieved. Yeah, if you always obey the order, yeah, or the directions given by the higher authority, you will not develop your personality. So just like a student, what do you have your right? You have the right to education. Yeah, through the right to education, you are developing your intellect as well as your personality. So when you develop these 2, there is a happiness, yes or no, there is peace. So just like that, in order to have this feature, rights has to be given, okay, and these rights has to be given by the Constitution. So it says a just constitution, okay, a favorable constitution is where the rights is given to the citizens. Okay, now these are the 7 points, okay, which throws lights on the significance of the Constitution. Okay, now we'll go to the next topic, that is the Constituent Assembly. Now what is Constituent Assembly all about? What is the purpose of this? Okay, now the present constitution that we have, okay, the constitution that we are following right now, this constitution has been enacted and adopted by a constitution making body known as the Constituent Assembly. Okay, let's talk about the structure. Okay, the Constituent Assembly, even before India got an independence, Constituent Assembly was set up. Okay, this Constituent Assembly was set up through the Cabinet Mission Plan of 1946. Okay, it is through this plan this Constituent Assembly was set up. Okay, what is the purpose of this assembly? The purpose of this assembly was to draw up a constitution for free India. Okay, that was the aim. Okay, again here in the Cabinet Mission Plan, it stated that the members to be present in the Constituent Assembly should be indirectly elected. That means people should not directly elected but elected through their representatives. Okay, now before India got independence, she did not have state, right? It is provinces. Now the provincial legislature, they have to elect members to represent their provinces in the Constituent Assembly. Okay, now what about the princely state? When I say princely state, it is referring to those states which are controlled by king, queens or princesses, right? Now those princely states, they have to nominate, okay, nominate members to represent their princely state to the Constituent Assembly. So 2 times, okay, provincial states they will elect members, yeah, to represent their provinces to the Constituent Assembly. Now on the other hand, the princely states, they will nominate members, and this nomination will be done by the rulers, okay, by the king, queens of their respective princely states, and will represent their prince states to the Constituent Assembly. Okay, this is how this nomination or membership has to be done to the Constituent Assembly. Now, point number 1, composition. Number 1, it talks about number of seats. Okay, here, each provinces and each princely states, they have to be, or they are given seats according to the ratio of its, in your text it's given in numbers. I'll explain here. It says that a population of 10 lakh, okay, a population of 10 lakh will have 1 seat or will be represented by 1 personality. Okay, that is how seats were made in the Constituent Assembly. So the Constituent Assembly meant for undivided India. Remember here, division did not take place, okay, partition did not happen. So an undivided India was to compose of 385 members. So that was the total number of seats in the Constituent Assembly, 385 members. Out of these 385 members, provincial legislature were to compose of 292 members, okay, 292, whereas the princely states were of 93 seats, okay. But after the partition, due to the partition, the total number of seats, that is 385 seats, it got reduced to 308 seats. So this is the final one, okay, 308 seats. That's the number of seats in the Constituent Assembly. Okay, point number 2, it talks about important figures in the assembly. Okay, who were the prominent personalities in the Constituent Assembly? Okay, they were the national heroes, okay, the freedom fighters. When I say freedom fighters or national heroes, you have known very number of personalities. Yeah, they are Jawaharlal Nehru, we have this Rajendra Prasad, who went on to become the first president of India. Yeah, then we have Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad, yeah, and also we have B.R. Ambedkar. These are some of the prominent personalities in the Constituent Assembly. Some other members will be Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was also there. Okay. Now, so these constitutes, or these were some of the talented or prominent personalities in the Constituent Assembly. Alright. Now, point number 3. It says that the Constituent Assembly was a representative body. This point is again important, okay? It says that the Constituent Assembly is a representative body. Alright. Here, although the members to the Constituent Assembly, they were indirectly elected, the leaders make sure that all the regions, all the states, all the regions, all the sections, they have representation to the Constituent Assembly. Okay. Now, for example, the Hindus, the Muslims, the Christians, the Sikh, the Pharisees, the Anglo-Indians and other community, they were given representation to the Constituent Assembly. Alright. Apart from these communities, the other backward sections of the society, for example, the scheduled class and the scheduled tribe, they were also given representation. Okay. Now in your text, they have given 3 prominent personalities. The Sikh, the Anglo-Indian and the Christians, they were represented by 3 prominent leaders. That is, Hukum Singh representing the Sikh community. Then we have Frank Anthony representing the Anglo-Indian community, and the John Mackay representing the Christian community. When you look at the background of these 3 personalities, they went on to hold important portfolios, in free independent, that is in the Constituent Assembly. Alright, so they were these 3 prominent personalities who represented these 3 major community. Now, when you look at the overall, members to the Constituent Assembly, one finds that the Congress party, that is the Congress political party, they have a majority in this Constituent Assembly. Okay, now, they were also, apart from this, they were also supporters from the Forward Bloc. When I say Forward Bloc, what comes to your mind? Forward Bloc dealing something to do with Subhash Chandra Bose, right? The freedom fighter, that is the Indian Army. He is the one, or he's the man behind the formation of Indian Army. So the supporters of the Forward Bloc were also there. The Hindu Mahasabha supporters were also there. Just likewise, the Muslim League supporters were also there. Okay. So when you look at this, the Constituent Assembly, the members, although indirectly elected, it was a whole lot of representative body, having representation from each section and each region of India. Okay, it was like a mini India, having a representation from each and every corner or each and every section. It was like a mirror of the nation, that is having a number of 308 seats, having a full representation from the entire Indian community. It was like a mirror of the nation, that is the Constituent Assembly. Okay, in the next session, we will discuss about deliberations, what were the talks, what were the debates, what they discussed in the Constituent Assembly. So in this session, we'll stop here. That is, we have discussed the meaning of the Constitution, we have discussed the significance, the importance of the Constitution, where we have discussed around 7 points, and we have discussed this broad topic, that is the Constituent Assembly. In the Constituent Assembly, we discussed how many seats were there, who were the prominent personalities, and who the representative body from each sections of the population. So till here, we'll stop and we'll continue in the next session.